Receive, Lord, receive all I have and possess.
Welcome to Listening to Catholic Women, a special series sponsored by the Archdiocese of Boston. Each week, join Bishop Mark O'Connell as he engages in heartfelt conversations with inspiring Catholic women. Together, we'll hear about their faith journeys and how they live out God's call in their lives. Stay with us for an uplifting journey of reflection and inspiration.
Give me only your love and your grace. That's enough for me.
Hello and welcome to Listening to Catholic Women. I'm Bishop Mark O'Connell, and today I'm delighted to be with Susan Abbott, who is the co-director, let me get it right, of Our Lady of Good Voyage Shrine on the Seaport in Boston.
Yes,
Co-director with Kathy Stebbins.
that's right.
You are a pioneer of sorts in the Archdiocese of Boston because you are, to my knowledge, you and Kathy are the first administrators of a shrine or parish. And so what are the surprises in that? And what is the... how's it been to be a co-director?
Well, we are the first lay people to be in charge of our worship site. I describe us as the canaries in the mine, and it's amazing. Anybody who knows me knows, don't ask about the shrine because I will never stop talking about it. That's the first thing. And the second thing, I'm not a Pollyanna. I'm really a realist. And there are good days and there are bad days. That's life. But 99% of the time, the image that I have in my head is that I am standing under one of those rainforest shower heads being drenched in blessings.
Nice.
It must sound so sappy, but you got to be there. You got to be there to experience it and to see it. It's great.
Okay, so what did you mean by the canaries in the mine?
Well, this hasn't been done before.
I see.
Lay people have never, to my knowledge, lay person has never been put in charge of a worship site. Now, obviously, lay person, we're not talking about a deacon or a priest. So we are lay people, and we happen to be women as well. So it's a double groundbreaking thing. So it's scary to think about that. And so Kathy and I try not to. We spend our time talking each other off the ledge, Hopefully we'll never be on the ledge at the same time. But it's amazing. And I spent 847 years doing parish work and only slightly less than that in central ministry. And nothing is like, and it's all been good. I mean, it's all been crazy good, but nothing like this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is amazing. It
That's
really
cool.
is. Yeah.
Now, in other states, other dioceses, other countries, this is not an unusual thing.
That's
it's
right.
unusual because we have a lot of priests comparatively in the Archdiocese of Boston.
Yeah.
And this shrine it's relatively new with its manifestation, and it is right in the middle of Boston.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's, are you saying Mass there, Susan?
Personally, no, but we certainly do welcome the celebrants, you freshie. And actually, when I was in grad school in the last century, there were religious sisters in a couple of my classes. I'm thinking Tennessee, Kentucky, maybe even Arizona, who were doing what we're doing. They were running a worship site where they would bring in priests to say Mass, or they would do communion services. So, but we're doing this model here now, so that we just don't want to blow it.
Well, no, it's successful. So to get to that spot, I assume you'd have to be a saintly person of faith.
Oh, absolutely.
Such that they picked you for just that.
Slow to anger.
Well, maybe
and
Kathy,
abounding in kindness. That would be me, not.
Yes, but you have a long journey of faith, and to me, you're an outstanding Catholic. But where did that faith start in your life?
Oh, certainly. It's interesting because as I was thinking, where did this all begin? I think so much of our faith journey is, I speak for myself, is recognized in hindsight.
Right.
When you're living it, you're living it. So I'm the youngest of 6 children, but there's about 10 years between myself and my next sister. So actually, I describe myself as an only child with 7 parents. And my parents, I guess looking back, they were religious. I can remember, it must have been preschool, my mother taking me to Mission Church for the St. Francis Novena.
Was Father Manton, was it?
Well, hey, what do I know?
Okay.
I was like 5 years old or
Got
4 years old. But I do remember the hymn, St. Francis Xavier, we kneel at your feet, blah, 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 entreat. And then the chorus was, St. Francis Xavier, oh, pray for us. I still remember that. I'm not singing it, but I still remember that. So that was my mother, and I think she was involved in some charitable works, either with the parish or the diocesan level, I don't know. I have vivid memories of my father, seeing my father kneeling at the side of his bed saying his prayers. And I can remember, I must have been junior high maybe, when my father got this plaque in the mail from the parish, the Nocturnal Adoration Society. I had no idea what that was, but I found out when we saw the plaque that my father was part of the Nocturnal Adoration Society, which meant that he would get up in the middle of the night and go down to the church to keep Jesus company at the Blessed Sacrament.
And you had no idea of that?
No, it was all when I was tucked in my trundle bed dreaming of my toys.
So is that society still exist? I've never heard of it.
No, I don't know.
Huh?
Yeah.
Maybe we ought to start it.
Well, there you go.
Huh?
There
Well,
you go.
restart it.
Well, yeah. So my parents, I have, of the 6 of us, 2 are deceased, and my remaining brother was a Jehovah's Witness. But one of my sister's sons is a permanent deacon in Fall River. So we're kind of all over the map.
You're a Catholic family with...
Yeah.
Very good. And now, you said already that you worked for the Archdiocese of Boston in various ministries. What was it, for 847 years?
Something like, give or take.
It's
Give or take.
It's been a long career.
It has.
I think it started, if I'm right, with teaching religious ed. Is that right?
Well, interesting. My first stint with religious ed, and the sell-by date is gone, we lived a year in Germany when my husband was a Fulbright Fellow, and my first experience was teaching Sunday school in the American Catholic Church in Bonn, Germany.
Oh.
I had never done, I taught in a Catholic school.
Right.
But it was like a year and a half. So when I started working in the parish, I was hired as the religious education secretary. Back in the day before computers, typewriters with carbon paper.
Right.
I never took any courses in typing or anything. So it didn't take long for them to realize that I was totally incompetent at that. So is this the Peter principle? I was promoted to coordinator.
I got it.
Because while I couldn't really type, I was able to do great letters and prepare talks for the priest for parent meetings.
Yeah.
So I was promoted to coordinator. Then I went back to grad school and got my master's and became director, all in the parish.
You got your master's where?
Boston College.
So a fellow Boston College grad here.
Yes, theology and ministry.
Okay, so we can't miss, because to me, the 2 biggest things I know about you are your relationship with church and your relationship with your family. So your husband is deceased.
Yeah.
How long ago did you get married?
We married back in those days. You graduated, took off your cap and gown, put on your wedding dress, and then 9 months and 2 days later you had your first child. That's just how it was done.
Got it.
And it was wonderful that way. So we married in October of 1968, and John died on the Feast of the Exaltation of the Cross in 2002.
And you had a relationship where you could share your faith?
Oh my gosh. One of the questions, what's a pivotal moment, or obviously you know what I've said about my parents and my family, but John was amazing. And he used to joke because I was working in the parish at $4 an hour, 12 hours a week, raking it in, and happy as a clam, except that I couldn't type. He used to say that I would get him into heaven because I was working for the church and he was earning a living. And it was so the other way around. He was the 7th of 10 children.
Wow.
In an amazing Catholic family. And it's like the shrine. Don't ask me about my husband because I'll never stop talking about him.
Yeah.
He was amazing.
What was his field?
His PhD was in German.
Yeah.
And a friend of ours from the parish, Michael, always described John as he could speak to Father Raymond Helmick, who used to be at the parish,
He was
Jesuit friend.
was your pastor?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, Raymond was the Jesuit.
Right.
Monsignor was the pastor.
Right, got it.
Yeah. So John would speak with Father Raymond Helmick in German about Hegel or Wittgenstein, and then in the next breath, he could turn and get equal delight out of speaking with anybody else about the Three Stooges. He was just a Renaissance man. He was amazing.
And he was your partner from God. It was clear that this is who was your mate.
Well, not at first.
Yeah.
At first, when I first met him, it was at a party that a classmate of mine had given for all of us, our little clique, who didn't have dates for the prom.
Yeah.
So she had a party and invited every boy she ever knew. And John was one of them. And I was immediately taken by the fact that he was funny and he seemed smart and he was drop dead handsome. So I thought he would be perfect for my friend Pat, who was very shy and wasn't even at the party. So I was trying to get Pat, it's not too late. Come, you got to meet this guy. Well, she didn't. You snooze, you lose. I tried. I tried.
I like that story.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so you have how many children?
4.
4.
Mm-hmm.
They're grown now, obviously. And
They
you have
are.
grandchildren?
9.
9.
Yeah.
So, but let's talk about a moment that was critical in your faith journey was going on from his death. You said you could only see things in hindsight.
Right.
Yeah, but that must have been, since he sounds like the perfect person for you, that must have been tough. So tell me about your relationship of God through that death and your picking yourself up.
He was not perfect. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I could tell you. Yeah,
Okay.
He was not perfect. But he was so good and so loving and so wonderful that you want the best for that person. And as much as I really do think it is all about me, if I really love someone, not that I say I want them dead,
Right.
but only the good die young, and he was 53. I can weep and wail and rant and rave, but if I really loved him, what's the best for him? It certainly wasn't the best for me, and it certainly wasn't the best for the kids and the grandkids. Only one of the grandkids knew him.
Yeah.
So it certainly wasn't the best for the rest of us. But I guess it's a test of love, maybe.
Yeah.
So his funeral was on a Wednesday, and I went back to work on Monday.
Wow. How could you do that?
I didn't know what else to do. And at that point, I was working in the Office of Religious Ed for the diocese.
Yeah.
It was September. We were getting ready for the Catechetical Congress. Hello.
Yeah.
Like 1,000 people. The office wasn't that huge. We had great support people, but I don't know what else I would have done.
So you kept yourself busy.
Right. I had a board meeting of an organization that I belonged to, not the church, and that meeting, it was a building committee meeting at a nearby school, and that meeting was on Thursday, and so one of the teachers at the school ran into me in the corridor and said, "Oh, you're here. Aren't you good?" Well, as Mae West said, goodness has nothing to do with it. What else am I going to do?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's what else am I going to do?
Yeah. You know, thank you for sharing that. That's so how you got through it was through getting up and working and going on with life as a mother and a grandmother at that point. And a lot of what I know about you is you're not going to admit it, but you're very smart. And
That's what I want to be known as.
good.
Oh,
I just
that's
gave you the title.
Excellent.
and you love art and poetry and music, and is that part your love of these things?
Mhm.
Is that part of your relationship with God, or is that separate?
Oh my gosh, yes. There's maybe a little bit of Jesuit in me as well, see God in all things.
Mhm.
But even now, and I live in the city, but I have a field behind me with trees. At night, I'll go out on my back deck and just sit and look at the outline of the trees against the sky. And God did this, you know? Mary Oliver, Mary Oliver is a recently deceased poet.
Okay.
She's
Oh, yes, I remember now. Yeah.
Right. I don't know if, like Emily Dickinson, 100 years from now, Mary Oliver will be held in such high regard as she is right now.
Right.
But she really is, she's the flavor of the month for the past number of years.
Right.
Introduced to me by Monsignor John McDonough of blessed memory,
Oh, yeah.
who was a great priest in the Archdiocese. Mary Oliver has a poem about, it's called Summer, and she starts out, "Who made the world? Who made the swan and the elephant and the grasshopper? I mean, this grasshopper." And then she goes on in that poem talking about nature. And then at the end, she says, "Tell me now, what is it you plan to do with your one precious life?"
That's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're going to link to that because that needs to be linked too. So in our notes, we'll have a link to that poem.
Okay.
But thank you for it.
Okay. And Gerard Manley Hopkins.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the world is charged with the grandeur of God. And when I'm working with adults in OCIA, formerly known as RCIA,
Yeah.
in the fall, I always give them homework. Glory be to God for dappled things. So your homework between now and the next time we meet is to go out. I don't care where you live, even in the seaport. Don't be like this. Look up at the trees. How?
Dappled Things is from Gerard Manley.
That's right.
Hopkins.
That's right.
As is in that particular poem, we might be getting obscure here, but shook foil.
Oh,
It's a fascinating image.
yeah.
So we'll put a link to that
Okay.
poem to Gerard Manley Hopkins. The world is charged with the grandeur of God, so it's called the Grandeur of God.
Mhm.
And I forget something out like shook foil, strung out or something out, and well, you'll see it in the thing. But it kind of means really shaking foil and having light go
Yep.
everywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So nature, and even in that Mary Oliver poem,
Yeah.
further on, she says something like, "I don't know what a prayer is, but I am observant." And then she says something about, "And I notice the grass, and I fall down on the grass, and I roll around in the grass." Isn't that okay to do? So I think prayers and spoken prayers and written prayers are wonderful. What would we do without them?
Right.
But I really do pray through nature and poetry. I'm a schmuck. I can't say things like Mary Oliver or Gerard Manley Hopkins or Emily Dickinson
Yeah.
or E. Cummings.
Right.
I can't talk like they do, but they say things that I feel in my heart.
Nice.
And the same with art and music.
What kind of music moves your heart?
Um,
Gregorian chant?
I went to Notre Dame Academy.
Yeah,
I can read Gregorian chant,
that's
Sonny.
about it.
I know my punctums and my podatuses
I
and my
don't.
dotted punctums. So
So, but what moves your heart?
I love contemporary Christian music. Matt Maher,
Oh, yeah?
Amy Grant,
Mm-hmm.
Be Still My Soul.
Mm.
I also, the classical music, every Christmas, I make it a point to stretch out on the couch like Cleopatra on the barge down the Nile,
Yeah.
and listen to the entire Masaya.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was little and I heard it for the first time at home, probably on a record player.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, wow, these are great. Where did he get those words? These are beautiful words. Duh. And then, of course, they're beautiful words. They're inspired by God. They're in Scripture.
Nice.
But the Messiah is lovely. There really isn't music that I don't know enough about, like grunge or I loved Hamilton.
Yeah.
I love the music in Hamilton. Oh my goodness, there are some beautiful pieces in that move me anyway.
How about a spiritual book that's a writer that inspired you?
Yeah, I have to say, when I was, I think, 8th grade or early high school, I read a book whose name I can't remember and whose author I have no idea.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
It is. I want to say something about love, and it was about Teresa of Avila.
Oh, yeah.
So that book made a huge impression on me, even though I don't know the title and I don't know the author.
Okay.
But it began my love of Teresa of Avila.
Wow.
But Thomas Merton,
Thomas Merton, you like to read him.
yeah, excuse me. I meant to bring my little notebook. I dug out a little tiny spiral notebook. I went through a Thomas Merton phase, probably late in life, 70s or 80s, not in college. I mean, we might have read something about his in college. When I was little, I saw my father reading a book called 7-Storey Mountain. That was a funny name, but that was a momentary thing out of my head. Fast forward to the late 70s, early 80s, and I discovered Thomas Merton and read 7-Storey Mountain. And then Conjectures of a Guilty Bystander. I can't remember one or two others. And I was so taken by him that I kept a little notebook. And when I dug it out recently to look at it, I can't read my own writing. I'm sure there were pearls of Thomas Merton's wisdom there. And then that led me to some of his prayers or journals. I don't talk about this a lot.
Right. Go ahead.
Thomas Merton had an essay, I think it was in his journal, and it's titled Fourth and Walnut. I'm sure you're familiar with it. And he was a monastic, lived in the monastery, but he had to go into Louisville, I think for medical issues or whatever. And he writes that he was standing on the corner of 4th and Walnut. And the word he uses, he was overwhelmed at how much he loved these people. And that they were his. They were mine and I theirs. And then he goes on further and says something like, do they know, or how do I tell them that they're walking around shining like the sun? I have Merton moments.
Yes.
I have times when out of the blue and the word is overwhelmed, I catch my breath at how much I love these people. And oftentimes it's at Mass, and oftentimes it's after communion, so you know where it comes from.
Right.
It happened once at the train station, waiting for the commuter rail.
Yeah.
So it doesn't happen often. It's not cheap grace,
Mm-hmm.
but when it happens, I know this is what he felt.
Yeah.
And then he does another essay about, believe me, I'm paraphrasing. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what it's all about. I hope I'm following God's will.
Nice.
And then he says, but I think the desire to do God's will is pleasing to God. So, Merton, I like Merton.
He expresses a lot. Do you have a favorite scripture passage?
Okay, a bit of a long answer to a short question. When we had Mass, and I'll talk fast, when we had Mass here at the Pastoral Center in the morning, I and my colleagues would go back to the office and we'd have our tea, and we would usually talk about the readings, not as an agenda, but it would come up.
Yeah.
And they would scoff at me and mock me because at least once a week I would say, oh my gosh, this is my favorite gospel passage. That said, my favorite passage, I think, is not gospel. It's Romans 8:28. For all things work for good, for those who love God and are called to his purpose. And if you don't think that God and I have knocked down, dragged out fights over that passage, you're wrong. All things work for good, because I say there's nothing that I could do that I couldn't do better if John were beside me. All things work for good for those who love God. Are you saying I don't love God? And work according to his purpose? And then I say, but maybe I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if I had John.
Yeah.
God's a strange duck. That's my favorite my favorite passage, Romans 8:28.
Love it. You're not someone who, you keep things new and fresh in your thoughts and in your prayers in your life. You're somebody else could have long retired and sipped tea. I'm sure you sip a lot of tea, but
Yes.
but for the rest of their lives. But no, you keep things new, and you have eclectic tastes, which I love. For example, we both connected to what was the woman's name? Nightbird.
Nightbird.
Nightbird on
Nightbird.
America's Got Talent.
That's right.
The two of
That's
us.
right.
I'll put a link to that in the clip of
May
that.
she rest in peace.
Yes, she
Yeah.
died. God bless her. But she came on, and she showed so much courage in her illness.
Yep.
That it moved the two of us, and it moved a lot of other people.
Right.
But you keep things. You're looking for new inspirations, and I like that about who you are. And maybe there's other people that might be inspired to look at things differently. You know, read Thomas Merton, read Gerard, Manley, Hopkins. Check out this Nightbird clip that I hope to put on. Maybe we'll need permission. I don't know. But it's just look at things fresh. Am I wrong in that summary?
I do like to again. Is it wanting to be contemporary, or is it immaturity? But I do want to know what's out there, because I really do. And I'm a simple person. God speaks to us every way. And this young woman from California, Nightbird, I found her on a clip. I don't watch America's Got Talent, I just don't watch it.
Right.
But I saw a clip of it on social media, which led me to her journals, where she talks with God. God is her upstairs neighbor.
Yeah.
And she bangs on the ceiling to get his attention.
Yeah.
Anthropomorphic.
With the broomstick.
With the broomstick.
Yeah.
Right. Just, and then one of my granddaughters, when she graduated from high school, the speaker spoke about a graduation speaker at Harvard's Kennedy School, Lucinda Gerard.
Oh, that's a hard name to say. Thank you for saying it.
And I think she was from Algeria, and she talked about getting out of Algeria, going to school in France, the whole family, and then coming here, and all because when they were doing a lottery to get out of Algeria, her mother couldn't write. And a man saw that her mother heard the announcement but couldn't go up to sign her name. And the man went over and said, "What's the problem? I can't sign my." He signed her name. She won the lottery, and they got out. And listen to Gerard's point was, when the mother thanked the man, he said, "Oh, it's nothing. It's the least I could do." And she says, "That's what we're all, of course we're going to do the most we can do, but sometimes it's the least we can do. That's the most we can do." So these are all around us. And for me, because I'm simple, I'm weak, I need constant reinforcement of what's the path. And like I say to God all the time, don't be subtle. Lord, you got to hit me over the head. I'm not good with subtleties. Speak loud, speak strong, and that's where you find God. That's where you find a path. I think.
So, thank you for that reflection. Let's go back to the fact that you and Kathy Stebbins are the co-directors, and you've worked for the church for decades. So let's talk about being a woman who works for the church. Always easy?
In my personal experience, mostly yes. I've had a couple of little rubs, but nothing that ever caused me to doubt my faith, or to say, well, I'm going to the church down the road where they park my car and give me Earl Grey tea, nothing like that. I've worked with amazingly wonderful priests. I've worked with and for amazingly wonderful priests, and the shrine is crazy good. It's we have diocesan priests, whether retired, who come to us regularly, or in a parish, but will come on a day off, or there's another priest. There's two. How rare is that? But the priest will come. We have Boston College dean. We have a dean from Pope St. John.
So you have a lot of variety of preaching in that chapel.
It's a variety of ages of ordination, styles, and preaching. And from what Kathy and I gather, they love it because
they like the variety.
The people love it, even though there's still that, and I think they like us. Sally Field, they like us. They really like us. But there's still that. They never sent us a priest to call our own. We don't hear that now. In fact, we're hearing they're not going to let you go, are they?
Because you are the pastoral presence there. You and Kathy.
We actually have. I should have brought it. We have a letter of appointment signed by His Eminence Cardinal Sean O'Malley, just like priests get when they're appointed pastors.
So you okay?
How's that?
Well, it's a nice piece of paper. You now get to
Listen,
work.
it's going on the table in the funeral home, framed.
Well, you know what? It is an honor to.
It's a crazy. It's a huge responsibility, but in our experience, every so often you'll meet somebody, a priest who might give you a little bit of flack.
Right.
But Lordy, that is so rare in my experience. And I ache for people whose experience is not like mine.
So, but you meet a lot of people in that job.
Oh, yeah.
And you must meet men and women who have left the church because your door is often open, and one of the major things of that shrine in Boston is welcoming back and welcoming in people. What's your elevator pitch to come in and check us out, or what do you say to them?
Well, the one thing, this analogy might not mean anything to you, but it will to I hate to be sexist to the women listening.
Great.
What we're not doing is we are not the salesperson at Talbot's or J. Jill,
Right.
who, when you walk in the door, will say, "Can I show you the new sweaters? Let me show you the new sweaters."
Right.
And then follows you around to show you the new sweaters when you're just coming in to look around.
Right.
So we don't pounce. People come in and we say, "Hi, how you doing?" And sometimes the person is on a mission. They'll go right through the narthex, right through the vestibule, the
Right,
lobby, right into the shrine and drop to their knees. Or they'll walk right past us into the Mary shrine and light a candle. That's what they're doing.
Right.
And if we're not respectful for that, we're the wrong people there. But if they're kind of, looking around and looking on the table, the bulletin, you start out with, "Oh, so is this your first time here?" And then it goes from there.
Mm-hmm.
So it can go in a couple of different directions. Yes, it is. And then you start, well, where are you from? And that's where it really pays to be old. Because Kathy's experience with World Youth Day and with mission trips and my experience, having traveled and lived abroad, we can make connections very quickly. And it's all about relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So that, where you're from, we're off to there. And if it happens to be somewhere in the diocese, and they say, I'm from Marshfield.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I actually would. I don't know. It flows. Whether I say, "Oh, what parish?"
Mm-hmm.
And if I do, then you get a response, and you can say, "Oh my gosh! Oh, of course, Father Avani. Oh, he's wonderful." Or if they say I'm not Catholic, and "Oh, well, great. Listen, welcome. Do you want me to? I can tell you about the shrine." So one couple came in. And he was obviously from New Jersey, because he was talking about looking for a place to get coffee.
Yeah.
And his wife was using the ladies' room, and so they came out, and he was looking around, and he said something that led me to believe that he was Catholic or familiar with. So we go into the shrine part. And I start telling them about the psalm that's around the ceiling, which is Psalm 107. They go down to the sea and ships. And then we talk about the pillars, and engraved on the pillars are the 4 rivers from the Garden of Eden. And I mentioned in Genesis chapter 2, and I mentioned that verse, And then we come out to this, that, and the other thing. We go into the Mary shrine, and the phrase around the ceiling of the Mary shrine is, "All ye seas and rivers bless," which is from the book of the prophet Daniel. So I finished with all of this. And the woman, who did not have a New Jersey accent, she had a somewhat British, come to find out it was New Zealand.
Oh.
And she says, "Well, I'm from New Zealand, but I'm Jewish, And I said, "Well, we have the same father, so I'm glad you're here."
Yeah.
So, and in Boston, you can always start out with the weather, and you can usually start out with the sports team.
Right.
So
that's not just for you. It's for anyone who wants to
engage,
mm-hmm. especially in church.
Right.
Too many of our churches, people come in, they're new, no one says hello to them, they just sit alone, and the engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to come back to a place that everyone gets ignored?
Right. We like the cheers bar of churches.
Unless you want to be ignored. You're
Exactly.
the cheers bar.
Yeah.
Norm.
Norm, yeah. No, we know your name is what I meant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But this is true, because there are 3 of us downstairs. Kathy and I are the co-directors. Joanne is the evangelization associate. Kathleen is in the choir loft.
Right.
She's part of us, but she's in the choir
Right.
loft. So before and after every Mass, somebody is in that lobby, that vestibule. Somebody is in there before and after Mass, greeting people and saying goodbye, reminding them to hydrate.
Mm-hmm.
Is
there are there people that poke their head in the door once that are now part of your community? Like they stay, or do you have lots of those incidents, or is it the nature of it is all temporary?
You mean of the community?
Oh, yeah, but do people join your community all the time, or?
We get requests. I want to sign up for the parish, and then we explain we're not a parish. We don't have envelopes. You want to sign up for flock notes and be part of the community? Sign right here, lovey.
Yeah.
What we're careful of and I especially, because I still volunteer in my parish, we don't want to poach from parishes,
Right.
you know? So we do have people that come in from out of town every Sunday. And I won't tell you the towns, but we have regulars that come in from out of town to the shrine, and we are grateful and we love them. But you know, I would be hesitant. We tell people the mass schedule. We try to make a connection with their parish as well. If they're Catholic and they say they're from whatever, I say, oh my gosh, is so and so still there? She was religious ed, and you know, that kind of thing.
Well, it's engaging. So
yes,
thank you for that beautiful ministry that you and Kathy do.
Listen,
Maybe we'll get Kathy on this show sometime.
You should live so long. She's one of my heroes. And when people thank us for what we're doing, it's really embarrassing because we get paid. You know what I mean? I mean this, and I say I'm a paid professional Catholic.
That's beautiful. There should be more of that.
Well, yeah, all Catholics should be paid professionals. Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't mean it
Mr.
that way.
Mr. Straub?
Yeah, no, volunteers are important too. So, but just people in a community are important. So, I think that anyone listening to this would hear your enthusiasm for life, and that is rooted in your faith. As far as I know, it's rooted in family and faith. And you always been that way? Or is that just who you've become?
I think I'm always a glass half full person.
Nice.
I don't know. So, again, hindsight, meeting John, okay. The birth of the kids. Oh my gosh. I
These
can't.
are your God moments? The peak is the birth of your children, you're meeting your husband.
Oh.
Where did you meet your husband?
Well, I met my husband at this party that my friend gave
Oh,
because
yes,
none of us
yes,
had
sorry.
prom dates.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you stole them.
What can I tell you? Like I said, you snooze, you lose.
Sorry about that. But okay, so tell me, what is the experience that I'll never have of meeting your son or daughter for the first time?
I read a book. I didn't read a book. It was a book on tape, and I can't remember. Was it Anne Lammot? And there's a line in it. The person in the story has a child. You know, she and the husband are raising a child, and she said, "I don't know how to do this. You have a baby, and they send you home from the hospital to learn to drive. You got to take courses." That was so.
It felt like a rookie.
Yeah, and back when Sarah, my oldest daughter, was born, you were in the hospital for 5 days, you know, and when they handed her to us on that 5th day, the pediatrician, Dr. Driscoll, said, "Don't listen to what anyone tells you. You're going to know what to do." Now, at that point, my oldest sister had 5 kids. The next sister had 8. My brother had 2. You know, there are a lot of, and my nieces are as close in age to me as I am to my sister.
Really?
You know,
Yeah.
so we just went home and kind of winged it, but it's amazing. I mean, here and it really was a God moment because John and I didn't do this on our own. You know,
Right.
I mean. It was, and it never got old. So, Amy was born 4 days after my husband.
She's number 2.
She's number 2. Was 4 days after John was released from Mass General, having had an emergency appendectomy on Easter Sunday.
Oh, gee.
Yep. And then young John was born 18 months later, and Elizabeth, she's our Hummel. We came back from Germany expecting her. It just never gets old.
Yeah. Well, that's a wonderful way to start to wind up. That never gets old, and God never gets old. St. Augustine, God is ever ancient, ever new.
Oh, beauty.
Oh, beauty.
Ever ancient, ever new. And God puts people, I was thinking, who in my life do I look up to? You got 3 hours? The people God has put in my life to keep me on the straight and narrow, and I don't dare name them. But when we retired from here, Kathy and I and a bunch of others,
Right.
they asked us, and the Cardinal was there at the time at the little gathering, and they asked us, "So, what do you want to say?" And I'm looking around at my coworkers, young and old, and I said, "I am surrounded here by a cloud of witnesses, and the people that I knew I was friendly with, I would see later, and I do scones, but how am I going to be on my own without this cloud of witnesses to keep me on the straight and narrow?" And then, of course, I realized they're all around me. I mean, and most of them, Fran,
I
and
know them all.
Kathy and Joy. How do you? That's how God works.
Yeah, so God is great. And did you just give a signal out when you said scones? So there was a little secret symbol there. Okay, we'll leave that one for other people to discern.
Decipher.
Yes. And Susan, thank you for
Thank you.
sharing this with me, and with we'll hope to have an audience someplace. Somebody will be listening someday.
Well, that's
It's
I'm just waiting for my call back.
Yes. And so thank you for who you are. And
Your love and your grace are enough for me.
Thank you for joining us on Listening to Catholic Women. We're grateful you took the time to hear this inspiring faith journey. Continue exploring these powerful stories with Bishop Mark O'Connell by watching more episodes. This series is sponsored by the Archdiocese of Boston and produced by Emma Lula Creative. Please like, subscribe, and share to spread the word. If you'd like to support the production of this series, visit the link in the description. Until next time, may God bless you.